You know, when we think of a festival like Janmashtami, our minds usually jump to the big, public celebrations. But what's happening inside the temple walls before all that? Well, today we're going to go behind the scenes at the famous Sri Mandir to uncover the incredible hidden rituals that most people just never get to see.
So what does it really take to get these deities ready for one of their most important journeys of the year? It's definitely not just one thing. It's actually a whole series of carefully planned rituals, and each one has its own deep meaning. They really form the spiritual and physical foundation for the whole festival.
So where does it all kick off? Well, it all begins on the morning of Janmashtami Purnima. Long before any procession, before any crowds even start to gather, the very first step is this quiet, crucial ceremony inside the temple. It's all about setting an auspicious, positive tone for everything that's about to happen.
And this first ritual is called Mangalarpan. The name pretty much tells you everything you need to know. It's a ceremony that's performed with one desire in mind, to invite auspiciousness, to bring in good fortune. Just think of it like a spiritual blessing that kind of sanctifies the whole day before it even really gets going.
And this is where you can see just how precise everything is. This isn't some general blessing for the whole temple. Oh no, it's performed by a very specific group of priests, the Puja Pandas, and it's aimed directly at the three main deities, Jagannath, Balabhadra, and Subhadra. Every single detail is completely intentional.
And it's a real team effort, you know? You've got the Puja Pandas, who are actually performing the Mangalarpan, but they're working right alongside the Balabhadra, the temple servants. And their role is so important. They're the ones who hand over every single ritual item that's needed. It's a beautiful picture of a shared sacred duty.
Okay, so if you're performing a ritual for auspiciousness, what do you actually use? It's not just about chanting or prayers. This ceremony involves very real, very symbolic materials.
And the key here is this number, 10. The Mangalarpan ritual uses exactly 10 specific materials, and each one has its own unique traditional significance. This number isn't just random, it's a core prescribed part of the whole ceremony.
So what are we talking about here? Well, to give you a concrete idea, we're talking about things like earth and even sacred soil brought all the way from the Ganga River. These things, along with 8 other traditional elements, are all combined to perform the Mangalarpan Ada, which is just another name for this amazing, auspicious offering.
All right, so once the spiritual preparations are done, the focus shifts to something a lot more physical. The very next step is this fascinating and super practical ritual called Doorlagi, and honestly, it's absolutely essential for the deity's journey out of the temple.
So what is Doorlagi? Well, it's the act of tying something called a pat door, which is basically a type of cloth curtain, right across the thighs of the idols of Sri Jagannath and Sri Balabhadra. And it has a really clear functional purpose. This cloth works like a harness to help people carry the incredibly heavy deities.
And you can just feel the energy in this quote. It really highlights how physically demanding and participatory this all is. It's the devotees themselves who pull on this cloth to move the Thakura, the deities, during the procession. It's this direct physical connection between the worshiper and the divine. Pretty incredible.
So, the blessings have been given. The physical preparations are totally complete. All of these hidden ceremonies have been performed so meticulously. Now, and only now, can the main event finally begin, the Pahanidi.
So here's how it all lines up. It's a very clear sequence. First, you have the Mangalarpan for good fortune. Then comes Pushpanjali, which is the offering of lamps and flowers. After that, the practical Doorlagi is finished. And once that final knot is tied, bam, the Pahanidi begins.
And here's the crucial point. The Pahanidi is the grand finale of all this preparation. It is the sacred procession itself. It's that moment when the Sri Vigrahas, the revered idols, are carried out from the inner sanctum for everyone to see. And you can just imagine the atmosphere. As the Pahanidi kicks off, the Ganta, or the temple bell, will be ringing continuously. And held high overhead, you'll see the Chhatar, this huge ceremonial umbrella, which signals just how important the figures moving below are.
You know, when you start putting all these pieces together, the prayers, the materials, the physical preparations, you start to see a much, much deeper story unfolding. It's all about how these small, specific actions create this profound sense of significance.
At the end of the day, what's so obvious is that nothing here is left to chance. Every single step, from the spiritual blessing of Mangalarpan all the way to the functional tying of the Doorlagi, is a deliberate, essential act of reverence.
And together, they form this complete ritual that prepares the deities, both spiritually and physically, for the journey ahead.
And this all brings us to a final, pretty powerful question. We've seen how offering a bit of soil or tying a simple cloth aren't just random acts, but are vital parts of a sacred process in this one temple. It kind of makes you wonder, right? How do other small, specific actions create such profound meaning in rituals that we see all around the world? It's a really fascinating way to think about tradition and faith.